You're scrolling through your phone right now, and you pass a name, someone you used to talk to every single day. You shared meals. You had inside jokes nobody else understood. You once sat on a curb at 2 a.m. talking about things you've never told anyone. And now you're looking at their name on a screen, trying to remember the last time you spoke. Not the last time you liked their post, the last time you actually spoke. There was no argument, no betrayal, no moment where one of you said something unforgivable. You just stopped. And the strange part, the part that keeps you awake sometimes, is that you don't even know when. Most people think friendships end in explosions, fights, betrayals. Someone crosses a line and the relationship snaps in half. But research says that's the exception. The vast majority of friendships don't die with a bang. They dissolve. Slowly. Silently. Like ice melting on a counter. You don't watch it happen. You just notice the puddle. And the science behind why is about to change the way you think about every relationship you've ever had. In the 1990s, British anthropologist Robin Dunbar at the University of Oxford was studying something nobody had thought to measure: the maximum number of relationships a single human brain can maintain. Not contacts in your phone, not followers. Real, functioning social bonds. People you know well enough that you'd feel comfortable joining them for a drink if you ran into them unexpectedly. The answer was roughly 150. That's it. Your entire social world in our friends, family, coworkers, old classmates, the neighbor you wave to every morning, maxes out at about 150 people. Dunbar arrived at this number by studying primate brains. The larger the neocortex, the larger the social group the species could manage. For humans, the math pointed to 150. He then checked it against historical data: the size of hunter-gatherer clans, Roman military units, average wedding guest lists, Amish church splits, Christmas card networks. The number held, every time. But here's the part that matters for that name on your screen. Dunbar didn't just find a ceiling, he found layers. 150 is the outer wall. Inside it, you have roughly 50 people you'd call friends. Inside that, 15 people you'd trust with real problems. And at the center, 5. Your inner circle. The people you'd call at 3 a.m. when everything falls apart. 5 people. That's all your brain can hold at the deepest level. And here's the brutal math. When someone new enters one of those layers, someone else gets pushed outward. Not deliberately, not dramatically. They just drift one ring further away. And then another. And then they're somewhere near 150. And then they're gone. Nobody leaves. The door just gets wider. Think about your 5 closest friends in high school. How many of them are still in your inner 5 today? That feeling you describe as growing apart? That's not a metaphor. That's your brain doing math it never told you about. In 1950, social psychologist Leon Festinger at MIT published one of the most quietly devastating studies in the history of relationships. He tracked friendships among students living in Westgate, a small housing complex on MIT's campus. The buildings were nearly identical. Residents were randomly assigned, and what Festinger found was uncomfortable in its simplicity. The single biggest predictor of who became close friends wasn't personality. It wasn't shared interests. It wasn't values or humor or worldview. It was physical distance. How close your front doors were to each other. People who lived one door apart were 41% more likely to become close friends than people who lived just 2 doors apart. 2 doors. That was the entire difference between best friend and someone I nod at. Festinger called this the Propinquity Effect. And it means something you probably don't want to hear. Your friendships aren't built primarily on who you are. They're built on where you are. Proximity isn't a detail, it's the engine. And this is exactly why friendships collapse after life transitions. You graduate, you move cities, you switch jobs, you have a kid. The physical infrastructure holding the relationship together vanishes. The hallway, the shared lunch break, the parking lot conversation that used to happen without anyone planning it. And the friendship is left standing on its own. Most friendships can't survive on intention alone. They were never designed for that. Nobody stops being friends on purpose. You just stop bumping into each other. And without the bumping, the relationship needs deliberate effort. Effort your brain is already spending on the 150 people standing directly in front of you. In 2018, communication researcher Jeffrey Hall at the University of Kansas published a study that put numbers on something you've always sensed but never measured. He tracked how many hours of interaction it takes to move someone through the stages of friendship. The numbers were staggering. Roughly 50 hours of shared time to go from acquaintance to casual friend, 90 hours to become a real friend, and over 200 hours to reach close friendship. 200 hours. That's not a coffee once a month. That's sustained, repeated, overlapping time in each other's lives. And here's where it gets brutal. It takes 0 hours to go backward. Moving from close friend to someone you used to know requires no effort at all. You just have to do nothing. Stop texting, stop calling, stop showing up. The decay is automatic. Building a friendship is climbing a mountain. Losing one is sitting still. In 2009, sociologist Gerald Mollenhorst at Utrecht University published a 7-year longitudinal study that tracked the personal networks of over 1,000 adults. He interviewed them in 2000, then again in 2007. Same people, same questions. And what he found should have made headlines. Only 48% of someone's close personal network was still there 7 years later. Half. Half your closest relationships get quietly replaced within a 7-year window. And the most unsettling finding, most people in the study couldn't point to a reason. There was no event, no fallout, no betrayal. The old friends didn't do anything wrong. New ones just moved closer, literally, geographically and emotionally followed. You didn't lose them. You ran out of hours. So if friendships need proximity, and proximity needs infrastructure, and infrastructure keeps changing every time your life does, is it even possible to keep a friendship alive across decades? Dunbar revisited this question in 2016 and found the answer is conditional. Friendships can survive distance, but only if both people actively invest effort to replace the proximity that used to be free. A phone call, a visit, a scheduled conversation that once happened by accident. The friends who last across decades aren't the ones who feel the strongest bond. They're the ones who treat the friendship like a commitment, not a convenience. They do manually what proximity used to do automatically, but most people don't. Not because they don't care, because maintaining a friendship without infrastructure feels unnatural. You're fighting 70 years of propinquity research with pure willpower, and willpower has a budget. So you tell yourself you'll call next week. Next week becomes next month. Next month becomes, it's been a while, this would be awkward now. And suddenly it's been 8 months and you're scrolling past their name like it's just another contact. The friendship didn't fail, the infrastructure did. And here's the part that might reframe every friendship you've ever lost. We have language for every other kind of loss. Breakups have conversations. Divorces have paperwork. Death has funerals. But when a friendship fades without a fight, there's nothing. No ritual, no ceremony, no moment where someone says, "This is over." Just silence that slowly becomes normal. You grieve something that never officially ended, and nobody teaches you how to do that. You're not bad at friendships. You're not selfish. You didn't fail anyone. You're a human being with a brain that holds 5 close bonds and a nervous system that was built for a world where your entire tribe lived within walking distance. You were never designed to maintain friendships across cities, time zones, and life stages without the infrastructure that used to do it for you. Sew that name on your phone. The one you scrolled past 30 seconds ago. There was no fight because there was nothing to fight about. The friendship didn't end because something went wrong. It ended because nothing happened at all. And the part that might hurt the most? They're scrolling past your name right now, thinking the exact same thing.